You a pussy. You get popped. You a goofy. You an op.
Hi, sisters. I'm desperate.
Oh, are you? Wait, what? Where'd that come from? I feel like there's context behind this.
There's a little drama going on this week.
There is? Well, before we start the drama, let's start some drama with our little subs. Hey, welcome back, you fucking little...
Okay. Calm down now. You couldn't threaten a mouse if you wanted to, buddy.
I could, dude. That's why I had to bleep that whole thing out. And I said some horrible shit.
No, we're not going to talk about drama, all right? It's not important. Don't worry about it.
But drama is what fucking makes the world go round, man.
You know, let's actually cause our own drama instead. Because I'm done with your nonsense, young man.
Oh,
I
yeah?
am fucking sick of these DaBaby memes you keep sending me.
I only sent you one DaBaby meme.
Are you serious? You one a day, maybe.
That's okay. This is slander.
I don't get. Okay, I shouldn't say I don't get it, because there's nothing to get. But like, it's. Let's go.
Let's go. I don't know, man.
Because I'm feeling like I gotta get away, and I won't ever stop, and I gotta get away and away.
Listen, man. This is the one time where I'll concede with you. This meme's absurd. This is like, usually I'm very combative against you. I'm just like, hey man, it's just a sign of the times. You gotta get with it. But even I'm like, all right, this is too much DaBaby.
No, it's not even that to me. Like, I let it slide. I let memes go by. You know, I don't care. It's just how many of them I'm seeing. I can't escape DaBaby.
But that's exactly what I'm saying, man. Usually I hop on the trend of the newest meme because it's just like, it's funny, it's goof, you know, that's how comedy is on the internet nowadays. But even I'm just like, this one's kind of a stretch.
Yeah, no, there's some that are really funny, like that Incredibles one was incredible. But then you just see him morphed into a car, and I'm just like, all right.
Yo, I'm about to whip this hoe.
All right. DaBaby. You know what I actually found really funny though? Did you ever see what he like roasted, quote unquote, JoJo Siwa?
JoJo Siwa, yeah. I was just like, leave that little lesbian alone. She doesn't deserve it.
Leave that poor 16-year-old alone.
Exactly.
Is what James Charles should have done.
Exactly.
Oh my god, I can't. All right, that's got to be like top 10. Yeah, that's got to be like top 10. Not even segues, but like whatever that was for me.
Just
right?
a total interruption.
And I think JoJo Siwa is like 18 now, isn't she?
Well,
whatever, man. I don't know much about her. But anyway, yeah, let's start our own drama. Because
you know, the first drama that I need to start with your fucking bald head ass is
why did I cut my hair?
Well, no, because first of all, I haven't even seen it yet.
Why did I cut my hair not on stream?
That's true. You should have done that. Well,
that's what everyone was wondering.
The process was kind of like skit for me. You sent me a Snapchat. You sent me just like, oh, I got my hair cut. I'm looking kind of bald though, and I'm just like, well, you know, I'm sorry I keep sapping all the hair from you because I'm having the opposite problem. Where my hair's growing in too much and too fast, and now I have to find a new barber because my barber's fucking ghosting me, like if I'm his ex-boyfriend or something. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't tune into the stream yesterday because my internet was bugging. But all of a sudden, I hear the little subs talking about it in the Quip Save server how you went bald, and then it was like a buzz cut, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I had a pretty weird reveal where I was wearing a beanie, and like, thing is, I got the fade, so it basically looks like I'm shaved from the sides. So I did a slow reveal from the side, but I mean, there's still a little bit at the top.
Do you look like a fucking like convict?
So I don't know if you remember back in high school, I would like always grow my hair out, but then when I would cut it, I would go full military.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I did again.
Yeah, I remember. But where'd you do it? Did you do it at home?
Nah, I went to a place, but like...
Wait, so you went to two different barbers?
What do you
went
mean?
like to one barber, and I'm just like, I'm not feeling this cut, G. And then you went to a different one?
No, what? No, I went to one person.
But you got a haircut. You
Yes.
didn't like it. You went back to the same place and went, hey, I didn't
The
like it. Just take
haircut
it
that
off.
I showed you on Snapchat, that is what I have right now.
Oh, I thought you went like, you
No,
know?
what the hell? No.
But that's what they were telling me on the Discord.
Because from the sides, it really looks like they were probably trolling you, bro. They're fucking pulling your
All
leg.
right, I'm gonna have to
and you
ban.
fell
I'm
for
gonna
it.
have to start banning people. I'm gonna ban Evan. I'm gonna ban Steven. Everybody's banned.
Oh, the little subs got you, dude.
This is the real drama now. These little subs fucking capping left and right. I don't vibe with it.
I can't believe it. Can't believe you
I
fell
thought you
for
went
it.
like military cut. I thought you went like, yeah, I don't like this, and took it all off, which I've done before.
Nah, I mean, I basically did that, but from the first try. Like, because I was originally, I had some, like, you know, pictures of what I kind of wanted, but I didn't know if it would work with my hair. So I, like, told the cutter, you know, like, I like your cut.
Did it work?
But then I didn't like the cut in reality, so I had him take off an extra 3 inches, and then I didn't like the cut more.
It was just like that de-escalation, man. I learned that from very early on when it comes to hair. If you don't like how it came out initially, leave it alone. You probably can't fix it. Just make it worse.
Yeah. I don't know. I had that, like, because the thing is, they did the sides first, right? And I saw that my top was still pretty long, and I was like, you know, maybe I should keep the top long and, I don't know, figure out how to style it. But then I was like, nah, fuck it. Just cut, like, just make it short. And then, yeah, I mean, it's fine, though, because I feel like it's going to grow out good. It's just, that's my thing with haircuts, is they never look good right when you get them.
Yeah,
but
it looks better when they grow into it. That happens to
in,
me
like,
sometimes.
yeah, a week or two. I'll give it, like, 2 to 3 weeks, actually, and it'll probably look good.
You just gotta do the fucking, you know, the K-pop star kind of hairstyles. You just gotta get that puffy little, like, curl cut. Look like Song Joon-ho or whatever their names are.
Bong Joon-ho, director of Parasite.
He's got a good cut.
I feel like their cut they usually do is like they cut the sides pretty short, but then they leave like a little bowl cut at the top.
Yeah. That's like the
I mean, I don't know
K-pop
if I
look.
could do that because my hair doesn't really bowl anymore, but it kind of does actually when it's really long.
Your
I would have
hair's
had to
kinda-
not cut
your
the
hair's
top
kinda
at all.
Dead. Your hair kind of
Yeah, a
just
little
like
bit.
falls. My hair's the
It's
opposite.
always been
It
like
grows,
that, though.
Up.
When I was a kid, I had the straight up bowl cut, so
yeah.
now it's a little more stiff. I think because of like the years where I would dye it, but
I forgot
No,
that you
I don't
ever
know.
dyed your hair.
it was a little bit of a phase, you know, as we all go through.
I've never dyed my hair, so I don't know what
Some
the fuck you're
people,
talking about.
you know, dye it. Some people paint their nails. Some people paint their hairs.
I've never once dyed my hair. Not once.
Well, you're missing out.
I don't think I am. I think I'm good.
You don't want to go like.
I don't
Dude,
want
I
to
don't even know where this guy
do
came
that
from.
era of YouTuber where everyone was dyeing their hair with these wacky fucking colors.
No, I was just gonna say go white, like Don King or whatever the
that
guy.
always ruins your hair, no matter what, no matter who I talk to. Everyone, when they initially get the bleach, they're just like, no, yeah, there's ways to make it to where it doesn't get damaged. And then time goes off and they're just like, yeah, it was a mistake. Every time. Because
I'm
you're not
still
supposed
not
to bleach
convinced
your
that that's
hair.
what ruined my hair, dude. I think it was genetics, but go off.
Listen, it literally anyone who who knows about keeping your hair healthy tells you you're like naturally you are not supposed to bleach your hair.
It's almost like bleach and the human body don't mix.
in any capacity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I feel like when I did it and then I regrew it like non-dyed, it looked fine, and it wasn't until like a couple years after that I started losing a lot of hairs.
Well,
but it could be because of that original chemical reaction.
Maybe, but at the same time, it starts fucking you up when you do it a lot. I mean, look at Ninja right now, dude. He's fucking.
Oh yeah, yeah.
losing
It's not gonna look good in a couple more years.
No, and it's like, why do you think those other YouTubers stopped doing it? Because they realized they were like, hold up.
But there's people that do it for like their whole life, and I think it's just very expensive. Well, obviously it is.
It's very expensive because you need to do a lot of upkeep to minimize the damage.
Exactly, and you have to have someone professional do it every time. Otherwise, that one time where you try to cheap out, you're gonna ruin it.
I don't understand the idea of willingly putting something on your hair that could potentially give you chemical burns on your scalp.
Okay, well, maybe I didn't think it all the way through, you know. I just wanted to look like Deku, like, relax, dude.
You fucking little weeb shit. I love how you give me a lot of shit for being a weeb, but arguably you do the weebier shit than I have ever done in my entire life. I think the only thing I've ever beat you out in is that I've actually gone to a convention in cosplay before. But you're the one with all the
neither of us have actually been to
figures
Japan yet, so...
And dyeing your hair to look like your favorite animal character and buying anime sneakers, and then you're over here fucking goofing me because I read manga and watch obscure shit.
Yeah, fucking weirdo. How dare you go outside the norm?
You fucking bastard.
How dare you go outside the basic...
I don't like this new drama era of Quip Save. I don't like this new antagonizing thing we got going on. It started as soon as I started watching VTubers, man. That was the trigger. You're just like, I'm not.
Well, I got even more drama for you.
What's the drama? What's the tea?
Godzilla was fucking trash in that movie.
Nah. Now I know you're capping. Now you're kind of like taking it a bit too far.
No, this is not even a hot take.
Listen,
dude.
man, April Fool's was a couple of days ago. You don't got to keep it running. All right. I know you're capping.
Okay, I wouldn't say they did him dirty, but Godzilla was barely a character, whereas Kong was like the main character.
Well, because it wasn't his movie. I think this was more Kong's movie.
Godzilla versus Kong was not about Godzilla.
Well, I mean, if you look at Batman v Superman, that was more a Superman movie than a Batman movie.
It was what?
It was more of a Superman than a Batman movie. I feel like in those kinds of movies, inevitably, one always ends up taking a little bit more of an emphasis than the other. But, yeah, for me, this one was a Kong movie, and I think it's just because the last, 2 movies were about Godzilla, so I guess they were just like, let's make this one about Kong.
Not because he looks more like a human, so that people can relate easier.
So it's easier to relate to him, especially when you have the little deaf girl who could talk to him.
Yeah, especially when he picks up a fucking nuclear battle axe.
Yeah.
And somehow it takes Godzilla's blast straight on.
Listen, man, you gotta at least say that movie was fucking kick ass.
Yeah.
That movie was
I like the movie.
Awesome.
I actually really liked it.
That's fucking great, dude.
That wasn't the hot take, all right? The hot take was just that I felt Godzilla could have had a little more going on. But the movie was really cool, aside from anything involving Stranger Things.
I think the reason I liked it is because it was finally framing Godzilla in an pseudo-antagonistic role. Whereas all these other movies were he had the hero role. But I felt like the reason why I really appreciate these movies, this MonsterVerse, I feel like it's faithfully following all of the representation that Godzilla has ever had in its history. The first movie was the first movie in Japan. He was seen as a force of nature. It was a very grounded in the message kind of movie. And then King of the Monsters.
The origin of Godzilla was from when way back to World War II, right?
Yeah, it was it was propaganda. It was against nuclear, warfare. It was denouncing nuclear warfare and showing the effects of it represented in this monster.
Yeah.
But and it's a very powerful movie. And I felt like Gareth Edwards really wanted to match that vibe with his 2014 one. And then,
yeah, actually, really, I went back and saw that one too.
I love
and then we saw King of Monsters when you were here. I really liked that first Godzilla movie.
It's so good.
But I think especially because they kind of film it, or they directed it rather, from almost like a human perspective.
Yeah, from a human perspective. Everything.
So all of the shots of Godzilla, at least in the beginning, are from the ground up. Or it's literally just his giant fucking foot. Yeah. Or his tail smacking. And it's it really gives you a sense of scale.
Yeah.
And how OP he is compared to anything that we've got.
Exactly.
And that was one of the things about the new one the Zilla versus Kong that I didn't really get, because suddenly the humans now have these fucking
super tech,
like 2050 spaceships, and like, but at the same time, when they were on the first battle on the ships, it felt like regular current day military.
Yeah.
So I don't know how there's like, is it like I think it actually plays into the conspiracy theorist. What was his name? Bernie?
Yeah.
It plays into that. Like, there's actually some underground lizard society that has this like tech from 50 years or 100 years in the future.
Well, that plays
like,
into kind of like what I was gonna say. You know, like the first movie definitely respects that grounded era of Godzilla. Then come King of the Monsters, which is very much into like that Showa period, where it was more about the monsters and like the spectacle of them fighting each other and blah blah blah, and there was some human shit still thrown in there, you know. But it definitely paid homage to like the monster.
It is Hollywood,
after
all. You can't sell tickets if there's no Stranger Things mommy daddy issues, you know.
But that's the other reason why I really like King of the Monsters, because it paid respect to the history of these monsters, what they meant, you know, what roles they took in the older movies, and how those movies were portrayed. Where again, you know, it was like that Showa period where like Godzilla was a hero, you know, and he was fighting for the side of humanity. And then comes King of the Monsters, which is not King of the Monsters, but Godzilla versus Kong, where it represents him more in that kind of like, you know, he's not good, he's not bad. He's like a force of nature, but he's still gonna kick ass. Whereas like very kind of like the Heisei era, where there was some.
Damn.
There was some.
You even made that rhyme, dude. That was nice.
Yeah, because I'm very into this. You can tell. You know, I'm dropping bars for Godzilla. But it was definitely like in that era of like the Heisei era, where like he wasn't, like I said, he wasn't really an antagonist or a protagonist. He was just there. And, you know, usually whenever the humans would act up, he would show up and, like, put them in their place. But obviously there would be another monster for him to fight, which is shit like, you know, Destroya or, like, Megaguirus or those kind of monsters, where he would just show up and he was still this scary motherfucker, you know, right? And I felt like that's what, like, Godzilla versus Kong was, like, attributing to or, like, doing an homage to. That era of Godzilla where it's just, like, you know, I'm not your buddy, but I'm not your friend, you know, I'm not your enemy
either. I'm not your friend, pal.
You know,
I'm
but
not
if
your
you
pal,
start some
buddy.
shit, which is what they were doing with the spoilers ahead, if you haven't seen the movie yet, which is what they were doing with Mechagodzilla. Well, obviously Godzilla's gonna show up and, you know, put people in their fucking place. And it was just so cool to see Godzilla, like, destroying cities and, like, you know, causing havoc. Because that's not something we've seen in the MonsterVerse yet, like a quote-unquote antagonistic Godzilla. And it felt so cool. It finally made him feel like a monster, you know, like this guy has no allegiance, you know. It's just his own thing, and he does what he wants. And it was cool seeing him rampaging through cities and blowing shit up and, like, blowing up helicopters by smacking them out of the air and shit.
Oh, it was definitely... The spectacle aspect
crazy,
of the movie
dude.
Was a 10 out of 10 to me.
The visuals
like,
were fantastic, man. It was just so
the battle in, what was it, Hong Kong, where it was super lit up and like neon. That was so cool, man.
It was so awesome, bro. I watched the movie twice because it was so good.
And like Kong was like using the buildings to like whack him and shit.
Like
that was sick.
Martial artist doing like Superman punches and like sticking the axe in Godzilla's mouth to stop him from shooting the laser. And then fucking Godzilla.
Did you actually see that coming? The Mechagodzilla?
Well, yeah, because it was like in the trailers and it was teased. And even before the trailer ever came out, there was like leaks of the action figure. You know? So I knew.
Okay, well, I hadn't seen any of that. Or I saw like one trailer. I didn't know he was coming. But I did predict from the beginning. I was like, in the end, no one's going to win. It's going to be like they both come together to fight a bigger evil.
Well, technically, Godzilla fucking beat Kong's ass
Okay,
twice.
yes, I get it. I was going to get to that if you give me a fucking second.
I'm not going to give you a fucking second. You are fucking... See, this is misinformation. Someone cuts it off right there and they just spread that clip and it's misinformation all day around. It's just like cryptids.
And this is why Twitch needs to get rid of clips because people are misconstruing my words. My sentiments.
Fucking deep fakes. It's all a conspiracy. It's all a hoax. Anyways, you were saying about the
Bernie
giant
was
nuclear
right all
lizard?
along, and I'm not talking about Sanders. No, but no, yeah, Godzilla definitely won. I think they made that very clear, unless you're like a toddler, that when he had like his foot on his chest and like Kong he couldn't get up, dude. It was like the classic like boxing movie.
Like he straight up killed him. They had to fucking defibrillate the giant monkey.
Which also was like, okay, I'm not gonna get into the logic of the movie, but like, come on, dude. That was.
I mean, dude, it's just like in those Heisei eras, they had like super advanced technology out of nowhere. That's why I wasn't very upset about it, because I was just like, okay, if you're looking at it, you know, some people will say, well, just because the old movies were like that doesn't mean they have to be like that. Doesn't mean they can't improve it. But at the same time, you could say the same thing in reverse. It's just like, yeah, but they want it to be that way. The intention is to show love and show homage to how the old movies were, and you know, it's not like they're telling you have to like it because we're being faithful to the old movies. They're just saying like, no, that was their vision, that's how they do it. If you don't like it, that's fine, but you gotta respect, you know, the love that they're putting into this shit. Where like, it's just like in the old movies, you know, you go to like Godzilla 1954 and it was regular old technology, you know, they were trying to kill him with missiles and guns and nukes. And then all of a sudden you go to fucking Godzilla versus, you know, Mega Gears or whatever, and all of a sudden fucking the army is throwing out fucking Mogera, you know, this big ass fucking mech, and you're just like, where the fuck did they get any of this shit? You know? So for me, it was kind of like that. I was just like, who the fucking cares where they got it? You know, as long as I'm seeing the fucking big lizard fighting the monkey, that's all I care about.
Yeah. But I guess for me it felt weird because what you're saying is different eras, right? So there was like almost like different timelines in each of those.
Oh yeah, if you
whereas
look at the
this
Godzilla
is one
timeline,
same timeline,
it's very complex.
And going from in King of the Monsters, they did have some pretty stupid, well, not as crazy tech, but there was like that super submarine.
Yeah,
and,
the graviton spaceship.
Yeah, exactly. And then now going to like the tunnel you know when you're a kid and you're like, if you drill a hole straight down,
a hole straight into the earth, bro. As I was watching it, like I was watching it with like Raph and Rondi, and they were, you know, he starts shooting the thing into the ground. I'm like, bro, he's gonna drill into the center of the earth. And even Raph and Rondi were like, nah, it's just an intimidation display. And then they show the laser beam come through the earth. I'm just like, he just blasted a hole through the fucking planet, dude. This is bullshit, but it's great.
I like that aspect of it, actually. See, the thing is, I get that you have to suspend your whatever disbelief for the movie because there's just about giant monsters fighting.
Exactly.
For
it's
me,
like Dragon Ball with monsters.
Yeah, the thing for me is mainly the human tech. Like, I don't care whatever they make up with the monsters. It's like the fact that humans were also able to... Well, I guess they didn't explain it, but I kind of took it as... you know the tunnels that they were using to, like, deliver the cargo?
Yeah, the Hollow Earth and shit.
Because in the previous movie, they had said that, like, Godzilla uses tunnels, and that's how he travels around the Earth quicker. Mm-hmm. It's like that thing as a kid where they told you if you drill a hole, you'll get to China or whatever.
Yeah.
Except
Which
in
is
these
literally
movies,
what happened.
In this movie, they literally did that. So, yeah, I would... You know, in my head, the canon is that they probably used the pre-existing holes to do that. Because I don't know how, in the amount of time that passed between the two movies, it doesn't really make sense that it would advance that quickly. But whatever, dude. It's a fucking Godzilla movie.
Well, they explained it like, oh, it's from this one company, Apex, who have always been, like, the lead in technology or whatever. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, why isn't the government
I like
regulating
that too.
them?
The main villain from Apex, I thought he was like corny, but it worked for the movie. Like, I actually liked him.
Yeah, he was like a evolutionist. He was just like, no, humanity always has to be on top, so we gotta kill Godzilla. Yep. I was just like, bro, who cares? Like, fucking having a giant monster walking around is pretty epic. I don't know, dude. I feel like in real life, if Godzilla existed and the military figured out that they really can't do anything to kill him, I feel eventually people would just be like, just leave the fucker alone. It's epic. We have a giant fucking big nuclear lizard walking around.
Well, the thing is that he was like, they didn't understand why he was attacking
But it was like ultimately his fault. Like, It was
Well,
him.
yeah, but from the military's perspective, like they don't have a they don't have a 1-to-1 with Apex.
Yeah.
So they don't know why Godzilla's attacking. They're just like, okay, we got to defend these Floridians on spring break.
But that's
like,
what I mean. Like, why the fuck does this Apex guy got to be starting shit, you know?
I don't know, man. I mean, it could be like even like a real world thing. Like the government, the military is always getting into, you know, like we just got to wait till Bezos makes his own Iron Man suit. Then we'll see what happens, you know?
Just fucking blow up in the middle of a flight test. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay, well, you know he's not going to test it himself. He ain't no Tony Stark,
not.
dude.
He's
more like
send one of his fucking Amazon warehouse slaves to do it.
Yeah, Bezos is more like a Justin Hammer than a Tony Stark, you know?
Hate him. I think every single fucking tech person on this planet is Justin Hammer. Fucking Tony Stark cannot exist because there's no such thing as that much total benevolence with any of these fucking rich billionaires.
Ego is too powerful.
Yep. Fuck that, dude. That's why
And
I've
the
always
thing
said
is,
I
we
don't
don't
want to be fucking rich, dude, because I
feel like the thing with Tony is the reason why he's so grounded is because there's these other supernatural, like, godlike forces that keep him grounded. But in the real world, we don't got that to keep these motherfuckers in check. So their egos get out of control.
Yes, so, man. That's why we need a giant lizard and a giant monkey.
Oh, I would love it.
Bro, those fucking fights were so sick, though. Dude, when fucking... I just love how savage Godzilla was being, man. When he got, like, on all fours and started, like, fucking chomping at... When he would ram his own head into buildings to try and bite the fucker. Like, I was just like, fucking go off, king. It's fucking incredible. But I gotta tell you, when Mechagodzilla was whooping his ass, even I was just like, yikes. Ouch. It's kind of embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, wasn't he about to... Like, what made it super clear, too, like, Godzilla could have clearly blasted Kong's head off right at the end, but he didn't.
But he didn't.
But then Mechagodzilla did.
I think it was like...
Can we get an F's in the chat for Kong? I can't believe they killed him off like that, man.
I can't believe they killed off Kong. But it was cool when they fucking got all the Dragon Balls together and wished them back.
True.
It was pretty cool. But no, I just thought it was like... It felt, you know, people were going to be debating all day. It was just like, oh, Godzilla was tired from the Kong fight. That's why he got his ass whooped or whatever. For me, it's just like, well, you know, if you're fighting a big giant metal monster that has a bunch of fucking missiles and opposable thumbs and fucking magnet blasts and, you know, it's kind of like the odds are stacked against you, you know. Obviously, like, you know, sometimes Godzilla has to take the L. I'm not gonna, you know, he got his ass whooped, but luckily Monkey was there and, you know, they teamed up together. And then Godzilla was just like, hey, thanks for the fucking assist, but you either put that stick down or you're next.
Wasn't it like, I don't, it was like the random
was
thing
ready
they
to
found.
go again, dude. Like, did you not see that
Wait,
at
what?
the end? Godzilla was ready to go again. He was like looking at Kong like, you put that
Oh,
stick
yeah,
down.
yeah. He's like, round two?
Yeah, he's like, you put that stick down or we're going to have a problem, man.
But, like, I didn't get that, actually. So, the Mechagodzilla was already really powerful, right? But somehow that thing that they found in the center of the Earth, like, or the hollow Earth...
They needed it to, like, keep him running. Because, like, the power source they had would, like, run out instantly. So they needed, you know, the MacGuffin ore that has infinite energy to power him. So that he wouldn't run out of battery mid-fight.
I feel like I was paying attention, but it wasn't until the very end that I realized the whole, like, I didn't get why the fuck they were trying to even go to Hollow Earth in the first place.
Well,
like,
the scientists just wanted to, like, bring Kong home so Godzilla wouldn't murder him. And,
how did they know that was his home?
Oh, it was like a theory. It was like the theory that the one Hollow Earth guy said that, like, you know, yeah, all the kaiju originated from there. So all the kaiju are, like, homing pigeons that they just innately know where to go.
How did they even know about the Hollow Earth?
Well, it was theorized since, I think, Kong, Skull Island.
Mm-hmm.
Where, I forgot what the scientist's name was, but he was theorizing it since Kong Skull Island, and they kept investigating it, and then it was, like, the theory was made true in King of the Monsters, and then they tried to do an expedition, but then they realized when you get closer to the center, gravity shifts, and then it crushed the expedition ship, which was the guy's brother who was in it.
Like so that's why they had to make up the super gravity shift out of nowhere.
Super gravity shift that Apex made. But Apex secretly wanted to go there because they knew that that's where they would find an energy source sufficient to power their mecha But the other scientists just wanted
How
to.
would they ever know that?
It was a hypothesis, but
Movie
whatever.
Bullshit.
Movie
All right,
bullshit.
we'll just say movie
Movie
bullshit.
magic.
For me, that's what it felt like. It was like there was really not, other than getting the big axe for Kong for the final fight. Like literally, the only point of them going to Hollow Earth was so that Mechagodzilla could show up in the end.
Yeah, pretty much. It was just a MacGuffin. Like, there's no fucking denying that shit.
And I mean, it made for some cool moments, so I don't mind it. Like when they actually blasted in, and it was like that Space Odyssey looking. Or like the Neil deGrasse, the meme of him like getting blasted with
wormhole. Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
That shit was fucking funny, dude. I was just like, they couldn't make this just like a simple tunnel. They made it like a fucking interdimensional warp hole.
Oh, dude, that whole sequence and then the Hollow Earth part, that would make for such a cool ride, like at a theme park.
Yeah, dude.
That'd be sick. I'm kind of sad, though, that a lot of theme parks these days are choosing to go for the VR route. Because there's something special about seeing the actual mechanical,
well, because it's safer and it's cheaper.
Yeah, well, of course. But, I don't know. I guess it probably will get to a point where the VR tech is so good that you can't even really tell the difference. Like, I feel that I don't know if you've ever been on the Harry Potter ride. No?
I want to go on the ride that makes you shut the fuck up.
All right. You just want to fucking start some shit today, don't you?
I haven't been to a theme park in like fucking... I was maybe... What year did Spider-Man 2 come out?
How you were about to tell me last time was Wonder Park.
No, not that far back. But what year did fucking like Spider-Man 2 come out?
Like... Sam Raimi?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Harry Potter wasn't even out yet, was it?
I went to like Universal Studios and I was the last time I ever
So of course
got on
the ride wasn't out yet. But anyway, I mean, I don't know what year that was. The ride didn't exist though. But the point is that like that ride,
that's the point.
It's like you actually the vehicle actually moves, but there's also VR elements in it. I feel like that would make a good combination. Like, they could do that with they should do a Godzilla ride that's like that. I think it'd be sick. Like, you go hyperspace and then go through the Hollow Earth or whatever.
I'm kind of sad about that fact now, realizing I haven't been on a fucking roller coaster or a theme park in what's probably more than a decade, dude.
Hey, next time you come through, bro, there's like... The theme parks here in Texas are crazy though. Like they're not as obviously like Disney and Universal are more like showy, if that makes sense. Whereas the ones here are more thrill based.
Ooh, but I like those more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, most people probably do.
I want to fucking piss shit and cum my pants, man. I don't care about Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, no, unless you're into the thing that. For example, like the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, that's a pretty new one, and it's pretty cool if if you like Guardians of the Galaxy. But if you don't, then it's just like, why even bother?
Exactly. Are you still going on vacation to Swampland, Florida?
Yes, eventually, because apparently now Karen's
her mechanical eyeball will malfunction on the roller coaster.
Yes.
Fuck with the circuitry.
There's a couple of plans. So I got to figure out my summer exactly. But I want to go to Puerto Rico at some point too.
Yeah, I got like
but that might be like later in the summer, like maybe August.
Yeah, I got a family reunion thing in July.
But yeah.
No roller coasters for you, man. No alligators, no swampland.
No, I want to go still. I mean, Disney's like very... tame. Like there's not really unless you go to the other parks, but even then I feel like Universal is the one with like the more fun rides.
Yeah, I liked Universal more than Disney.
I think actually the only thrilling ride at Disney might be the Guardians of the Galaxy. It used to be the Tower of Terror. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yeah, never been on it though.
Yeah, they repurposed the Tower of Terror and now it's Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's basically like a free-falling elevator. And it used to be like, I don't know why it was actually like horror themed. I guess because it's scary. But now it's just like you're going through the jail from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, that sucks.
And like
Tower
as you're
of
going
Terror
up and
sounds
down,
way more epic.
it's pretty cool, and it's a fun one. Like if you have a bag on your lap or anything really, when you start free falling, you can let go of it and you just see it like floating in front of you. It's pretty cool. I mean, they don't, that's not recommended.
Yeah, I don't
like
think
if Disney catch you doing that, they probably won't let you back on. But
I don't know, man. I guess I've never been big on theme parks in the first place, man. But I would like to go one just for like the nostalgia of just like remembering what it was like. I know I went to SeaWorld once and I hated it.
I mean, they're definitely like, they're not a thing you can do all the time because obviously they're expensive. But I would say like, yeah, going to them once at least to experience them is always good.
So, the one thing I never understood about is going to a theme park and getting drunk. I feel like that's the worst idea.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think that's more of a thing for locals. Because, like, when you're, for example, when I lived in Orlando, like, I had a lot of friends that worked at it so they could get us in for free. That's the only time I would do it. Like, other than that, if you're paying, like, $200 for a freaking ticket, like, why would you get wasted? You're not even going to remember it.
I feel like you could just run a very good risk of either getting horribly injured or dying.
Yeah.
Or best case scenario, just not remembering. Which is then like, what the point? What's the point?
Which is what happened to me once. I think I was at, that might have been a Renaissance fair instead, which makes a lot more sense to get drunk there.
Fine, unless you run into a particularly like haughty knight with a real sword.
That was actually really fun because it all feels like a weird dream, like a fever dream, where I was like...
I've actually never been to a Renaissance fair. I've always wanted to go.
I've only ever been once, and it's because, like, an old friend of mine recommended it, and, yeah, we went and got wasted, and it didn't end well. One of our... one of the people in our caravan ended up spending the night in jail.
What the fuck? What did you idiot kids do? Because you guys were kids, man.
I'm still not sure what happened, honestly. So, like, there were 5 of us, right?
Yeah.
1 minute, we're all watching the jousting event and downing these Long Island iced teas.
Ooh, bad idea.
Exactly. Except here's the thing. I was fucked up, but, like, I was fine till the very end. Like, I didn't do anything stupid. I was just, like, very drunk.
Which is uncharacteristic of you, by the way.
After that, I remember we saw, like, have you ever seen these girls that put like the really long curtain kind of thing and use it sort of like a stripper pole, but not really? It's like they do like this weird dance with the curtain. Like I'm not explaining it very well, but there was a chick doing that. And then it was 3 of us. I mean, there was 5 of us, and then suddenly there were 3 of us. So the next minute, the 2 that were missing are with the cops. So I don't know what happened.
Wait, did it have anything to do with the ribbon girl? Or
I don't think so. I think what happened is there was like a play going on, and they probably went on stage.
Oh God.
'Cause it had I don't know. It was really weird. Like, also because I was drunk, but no one explained what happened. Like, they were just talking just to them. All I remember is I was being a little Karen, and I kept asking for water, and the cop wouldn't give me water. I was trying to, like, prove something. Like, the cops are freaking... I don't like them. All right?
Hey, cab.
I mean, I feel like when you're dealing with someone drunk and they're asking for water, that's the least you can do, right?
I guess, but at the same time, you're a very belligerent drunk, my friend.
No, this is before my belligerent days. Like,
are you sure? Or maybe you're just not remembering right.
I was fine, dude. Come on. Being very respectful. Very nice young lad.
All right. Cap?
Yeah. Renaissance Fair. Woo!
I've always wanted to go one, but I've always wanted to go one in costume. Like, I want to roll with the theme. I don't want to go as just some tourist, in my t-shirt and my fucking shorts.
Yeah.
I want to actually wear a medieval outfit.
I feel like that's the thing, though. Like, your first time should be like that. And then, because you got to feel it
you
out.
know, how about you don't tell me how to live my life? How about
whatever, bro? I'm just saying you can probably get a really cool outfit in there. So, and it's multiple days. You freaking dingus! Like you can go the first day.
I just love doing that shit to you.
It's a month-long event, you know. You could go from the first day.
All
by
right,
the end,
man,
you'll
relax,
fucking be.
It's okay.
You'll be the one jousting by the end of it. All right.
But that's exactly why. If I get in any kind of shenanigan, I could be like, "No, guy, I'm part of the act.
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand, officers."
You can get away with it. It was pretty fun, like the people that are in character, because like I was vlogging, I think too, and like this one guy was like, "What is this magical device?"
Oh, he was in character.
Oh yeah, he was in it.
That's good though. I like that. I dig that. But yeah, I just need to go to more stuff like that, man. Everything here on the island is so samey. You could only do the same shit. You either go drinking or go to the beach or go hiking.
That's because Puerto Ricans are fucking basic.
It is. It's true. It's true. I'm not even gonna fucking deny it.
You know what I think it really is like, I mean, we're all the same culture. Like, we all kind of want to do the same shit. So,
I guess.
And then when you have versus the States, there's so much diversity, like people from all over the place. So shit like Renaissance fairs, I just can't imagine a Renaissance fair in Puerto Rico for some reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though it's not necessarily a culture thing, obviously. It's just medieval. Like anybody can research it and do it. But I feel like there's a very small minority that
I kind of like distinctly remember being a child, there was a lot more shit to do on this island. 'Cause I remember going to like Disney on Ice. And I remember, like, La Feria would have, like, this weird subset where they would have, like, a freak show. Where they would have all these fake, like, monsters and all this stuff. You know, I feel like, you know, as the years have gone by, that shit has been kind of, like, disappearing.
Yeah, it feels like it's gotten more samey. And I don't know what it could be, honestly. I guess maybe the new gen is just lazy.
I remember that one museum that was like half a museum, and then it also had an aquarium, and then it had like this like dinosaur horror house thing where you would go through dinosaur animatronics, and it was scary.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, how much has like the population gone down since we were kids, you know?
I don't know, but it is.
I feel like
sad
it's
to think about.
I mean, it's definitely gone down, but not crazy enough that like, because my theory in my head right now is that there's less locals, and the locals have less money, so they can't really go out and do those kind of things.
That's pretty much the prime reason our economy's shit.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Actually, it says, let's see. What the fuck? Okay, so in 95, the population was 3.7, around there. Now it's 3.2.
So it's gone.
So I mean, 500,000 people down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that and the economy are probably the main two factors. Because like, I feel that if they did a Renaissance fair in Puerto Rico, like, not many people would go, and it would lose money. And that's why a lot of people don't do things like museums or, you know, touristy things. I mean, it depends. If it's a low-cost tourist thing, which is like basically beaches, which is why everybody just does the same shit, you know, bars and beaches.
Yeah.
It's like low-cost fun.
I've always wanted to do all those things I've seen in the movies, you know. I've always wanted to go, like, to an ice skating rink and Renaissance fairs. And
we definitely had ice skating rinks growing up in Puerto Rico. Maybe they might probably still have at least one, right?
Maybe so, but they're probably really far off from where I live, so. But you know what I mean? I've always wanted to do that shit that was always in the American movies, you know? Go to, like, the state fair and all that kind of shit, but it's not the kind of stuff you have here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more like, I don't know, the stuff that I get, it might be because of I was with my grandma, or it might just be Puerto Rican stuff, but I remember all the festivals we would go to were like very, like mainly agricultural or just cultural, and
the big one was always La Sanse, which is just at the same time.
Yeah.
I hated it. I've always hated it.
Mm-hmm. Even as a kid, like before you drink, like I always found it so, like I hated the big crowd,
so
man. It was just like,
and
why am I
uncomfortable
forcing
and
myself to
noisy.
do this?
Yeah.
Like if you really wanted some like little sculpture of a cookie, like just go to the fucking souvenir store.
Exactly. Can't fucking remember any time going over there and buying anything or seeing anyone who would buy anything. Everybody went over there to just get fucking drunk and have a good excuse to get away with harassment.
Okay, well, I'm not going to talk about the second half, but I think the older crowd definitely does go for the art still, because I know my family would go, maybe not every year, but even up until the last couple of years, they would go during the day, like before people get drunk, wasted.
My family would always go at night, so that's how I knew. The night
Exactly.
crowd is definitely not there for the art.
Yep. No, it's okay, I wouldn't say it's chill during the day, but compared to at night, it's like day and night.
Yeah,
you know?
literally, quite literally. I always hated it at night, man. It was the worst. Never liked it. I'm just not good with big crowds in general, man. My family has always questioned that about me, and I'm just like, I don't feel like that's that hard to understand.
You know, I've never been to Mardi Gras, but I like to imagine that La Sanse is kind of like that.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly like Mardi Gras.
Down to the harassment.
Down to the sexual harassment, yeah.
God.
It's the worst.
It's bad.
It definitely is. I feel like you could get some kind of STI from just breathing the air when you go to those.
Probably. I would assume they've canceled it for the last year or two, right?
Yeah. Ever since this COVID thing started, I don't think there's been one. And I'm glad.
You know, someone out there, some influencer had their own sunset party.
Probably. Fucking, I don't know, man. I just feel like being in Puerto Rico has really limited my cultural range. I've had to go out on my own to, like, learn that kind of shit. But I feel like people, and I feel like that's a common occurrence here on this island. Like, if people don't actually go out of their way to learn shit, everyone's just stuck in this weird little bubble. This little Boricua bubble. And I feel like you could say that about any place, but I feel like it's a much more prevalent thing here.
I think the difference is, because a good comparison would be like, if you're in a random Midwestern town, like when I lived in fucking Nebraska, like everyone there, they live in a little bubble. Like all they know is bar, Cornhusker football games, and like, I don't know, whatever little league their kids are in. Like that's their life, you know, and then they go to work otherwise. That's all they do. And they often don't break out of that. Like even their kids will be born into that. And aside from maybe that one that, like the only way to break out is if you go to a college in some other state, and then maybe it opens you up to new experiences, you know? But I feel that the difference is what I just said, that you have the opportunity to just hop in a car and you could literally, even if it takes you days, like you could literally drive all the way to California.
Exactly.
Or like Washington or whatever, the mountains, you know? Like whatever different, completely different environment and culture. But in Puerto Rico, like even if you go across the island, you're like, it's still going to be kind of the same.
Yeah. Puerto Rico's all the same around a lot, you know, obviously it has its distinctions. Like, you know, there's more areas that's more rural, but all around, everything's the same on this island. It's not a big place. We're only like 100 and something miles across from end to end.
Yeah, no, it literally takes like 4 hours to go one side or the other, right?
I think fucking Maine or whatever, Rhode Island is bigger than us.
Okay, no, technically, if Puerto Rico was a state, I think it would be like the third smallest. There's definitely smaller states.
There's smaller states than Puerto Rico? No way.
Yeah, no, Rhode Island I think is smaller.
was like the smallest, and it was still bigger than Puerto Rico.
It's let me do the stat check, because I'm pretty sure it's smaller. Rhode Island's 1,200 square miles. Puerto Rico is 3,500, bro. Puerto Rico's 3 times the size of Maine. Or sorry, Rhode Island.
Well,
and then the next smallest states by square mile. We're not going to count Washington, D.C. That shit's not. Delaware is also smaller than Puerto Rico. Delaware is only 2,000 square miles. So those are the only two, though. Puerto Rico would be the third smallest.
Damn. So, yeah. If you live in any one of those places, it's like comparable to that. But imagine if you couldn't, if Rhode Island was surrounded by thousands of miles of water.
Yeah, and I think the difference is like Rhode Island. I mean, I think I've been there once. I don't remember, but it's all like just one big city. Like it's not like, you know.
Yeah. There's no like suburbs or anything like that or anything like that.
I mean, yeah, there's suburbs, of course, but it's not like a Midwestern state like my comparison from earlier. Like if you're born in Rhode Island, there's a lot of culture just because you're in the New England area, you know?
Yeah, bro, the Midwest has always sounded kind of ethereal to me.
Dude, the Midwest is it's a whole, man. Like I don't know. Midwestern people, it's a subculture of its own.
Right? Every time I hear about the fucking Midwest, I call it like cryptid country. Because I always hear about some weird shit going down in the Midwest, and people always have weird fucking stories and talk about it like it's this very kind of like pseudo mythical place.
It's kind of like the Great North of, like, I don't know how to even describe it, honestly. I feel like I wouldn't call myself Midwesterner, but I lived in the Midwest for like 5 years between Nebraska and Illinois.
All our accents, like, bro, some people have talked to me like, bro, you're from Puerto Rico. Why the fuck do you have a Midwestern accent? And I'm like, I don't know. That for me, that's just kind of like the baseline American accent, I guess.
Yeah, I think the thing is, a lot of talent comes out of the Midwest, and I'm not sure why, but like. Randomly, you'll look up any actor.
Because doesn't the Midwest have like the most people? Like the Midwest and like the Eastern Coast is like the most populated, I think.
Yeah. The thing is, if you can deal with cold, the Midwest is not a bad place to live. Like there's,
well,
you know, aside from the cold, it's like
cold, disappearances and murder.
No, honestly, even the crime rate is not that crazy in most Midwestern places. But you get
all the scary, creepy murder in the Midwest. You get like all the serial killers.
Yeah.
That's what you get in the Midwest. Not like the petty crime kind of murder.
I don't know. I don't know why when I think of serial kill, like I think of like Washington State, like the fucking mountains or something.
I've always seen it like that's the place. Like if you know. If Slender Man and all those like fucking cryptids were real, they'd be in the Midwest.
Yeah, probably. I could see. Yeah, maybe like Slender Man probably took place in like North Dakota or something. I don't even think North Dakota's part of the Midwest. Because
it's like flatlands and the woods. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that sounds like the worst place for me.
It's swamp too, dude. Like that's the thing. The Midwest, like I don't know, 200 years ago, it was literally just a swamp.
Yeah. Ugh, how did they ever fucking civilize an area like
that? Dude, yeah, if you look at
Chicago,
like pictures of Chicago like in the 1900s or 1800s, like I don't know how the hell they built a whole city on top of that. Like it was literally a swamp.
And now people love Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago's great, dude.
Chicago is great, but I hate
to think that
used to be a fucking place of horrible terror.
Yeah. Yeah, freaking Al Capone, man. And that's what I'm saying though. Like I feel like this could be like a mini game. Like look up any random actor you like, and there's I'm not gonna say 90, like 80% chance that they're somehow from the Midwest. And I think that's why like a lot of voice actors and actors come from the Midwest. So that's I feel
like people like to migrate out of the Midwest a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more than they do from like coastal cities. Or even like more rural areas. I feel like people in the Midwest are just like, because I feel like it's like at the same time it's like bread and butter America, but also just kind of very unnerving, kind of. I don't know how to describe. Maybe
I would just say it's boring, dude. Like it's straight up just boring.
Yeah,
like,
but isn't that what causes like the most crazy shit? Boredom.
Yeah. No. Exactly. And it's what I was saying earlier, though. Like there's. Say you have 4 kids. at least one or two of those kids are going to end up going to a college somewhere else, and then they'll probably end up emigrating, you know? So it makes sense what you're saying. Like, if you're born in the Midwest, it can be similar to Puerto Rico in a way, except in Puerto Rico, it's like 10 times harder to get out because you're in your freaking island.
Exactly.
And I think there's that whole thing, like, I felt at least that if I left, it was going to be hard to come back because you almost feel like you're leaving behind everything.
Oh, yeah, dude. When you leave Puerto Rico, it's like you're either out or nothing. Like, that's kind of like the point I haven't reached yet. I've always felt like when I try to leave Puerto Rico, something always ends up pulling me back voluntarily, mind you. But if it was my choice, dude, I'd leave and never go back. Like, because it does feel like a trap at a certain point. For anyone who has any, like, outlying ambition, Puerto Rico is a trap. Mm-hmm. It is not good at developing people who have high ambition. Because, like, I don't know, dude. People who make themselves successful in Puerto Rico kind of have to subject themselves and kind of become complacent to all the just, like, the abuse that happens in this island when it comes to, like, its people. You know, the economy's not good. The housing market is shit. It feels kind of like you really have to put aside all the fucking awful shit that happens on this island to make any kind of sense of your world if you're going to be successful here. And then I feel like you have to grind even harder, but, like, simultaneously snuff out your ambition, because everything in Puerto Rico when it comes to entertainment wise is so perpetuated out of things that are outside of here. If you look at TV in Puerto Rico, it's just a Latin version of shit that you see in America, except, like, maybe like 5 years behind.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays is when we're starting to get those, like, athletic game shows. There's this one called Guerreros now, where it's basically what American Ninja Warrior was back in fucking, you know, and you don't see those shows as popular anymore over there, but now it's huge here. And then you have this other show called Enamorándonos, which is like this very blind dating show. When was the last time that's ever been popular in the States? You know what I mean? It feels like entertainment in Puerto Rico is just kind of like a years behind copy of what happens in the States. So I feel like it's kind of like this vortex of just, like, regression. Where, like, if you have any kind of ambition into, like, progressing outside of the norm, this isn't the place to do it. So it's either you get out or you're stuck in this weird little Latin time capsule.
Yeah, I feel you, but I guess that's, like, seeing it over here too, and going, like, when I visit my family here in Texas, like, they watch a lot of what you just said, but, like,
I hate it.
I don't think they're from Puerto Rico specifically. So I feel like that's more of a trend just with, like, Latino America. Like, our TV at least and, like, entertainment is definitely just trying to emulate whatever used to be popular in America.
That's the word I was looking for, bro. They try to emulate it, but I feel like I've been aware of that ever since I was a little kid. And I think it was just, like, fortunate enough that I had cable growing up that I was able to
so if you're, like, if you're
a
creative, if you want to make something new, you know, like, it's definitely not.
It's not the place to do
it. It almost seems impossible, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, especially since people in this industry, they only really get on it by knowing other people, which is another. It happens in the States too, but I feel like, you know, the internet has kind of, like, dialed that down a little bit, especially in the States. I feel like Puerto Rico hasn't really acclimated to internet culture fully, or as far as the States have, or even other places in the world, where I feel like people in the TV and in the entertainment industry still have that very boomer view of the internet, where they still don't understand it. And it's so cringe to see on TV.
I feel like that maybe not translates, but it's like it's all of Latin America is kind of like that.
Yeah, cringe. That's how I fucking always describe it, dude. I feel like Latin America is a very basic place when it comes to entertainment, not culturally, just entertainment.
No, yeah, the culture is great.
Culture's
but
great.
Yeah, on the
Latin
internet,
culture.
it may be not so great.
Yeah. Like, I have friends that are like that. I make fun of Tisha all the time because I always tell her, like, you have such basic, like, entertainment, like, humor, where, like, she doesn't understand, like, the jokes that me and Raph and Alex or you and me make, but she'll laugh at, like, a fucking Squirtle meme going, Damo, aguanta. I don't even know what it said, but it's just, like, a Squirtle in a weird pose that would say a funny thing in Spanish, and she would lose her mind, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Okay, well, I mean, I don't think that's just Latino Americans, but I get what you're saying, because I get the same shit, like, I feel that way about a lot of TikTok, like, I don't know, I find,
but
like,
imagine
my humor...
if TikTok was, like, that kind of humor was everything. That's what, like, I feel like Puerto Rico is. That's the shit that people here find funny. And I don't get it, bro.
It's basic TikTok, right?
Because
there is some good TikTok, like, and there's some absurdist TikTok. But what blows up is usually the most basic shit. Like,
I feel like, you know, if you want to be funny in Puerto Rico, you got to be loud and obnoxious. Like, and just like very kind of like, you know, it's like what I described like 90s sitcom comedy. You know, where it's like look in the camera and say like a quirky thing kind of comedy, but the Latin equivalent with just a lot more cursing in it. And I feel like that's Puerto Rican humor, man. And I never subscribed to it, man. Never. Not once in my life. Every time someone would put on Channel 4, I'd immediately change it. I couldn't stand it for more than 10 seconds.
Oh my god, dude. I remember Will Smith's dub voice specifically. I don't know why I always like...
dude, the dubbed movies in WAPA, fuck.
Yep. That's like ingrained. That is actually encapsulates everything we're describing perfectly. Because one of the... Like, when we were growing up, they would always... Channel 4 is like the one that everybody watches there, right? And it's like the most popular, and they would have American movies dubbed over, but they would come out like 4 years later.
Yeah. Like way later.
It might have even been more, yeah. Like, because I remember growing up, they were playing like the original Superman movies, like the freaking like Christopher Reeve, like
Christopher Reeve ones.
And that was in the 90s. Like, when did that come out? Like in the 80s, right? Or even older.
Bro, it's absurd. Like, and fucking someone on Channel 4 has a hard-on for Steven Seagal. We've already talked about this before on the podcast, but fuck, that to this day, bro. I remember as a kid, they would always put on Steven Seagal movies or Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, and to this day, they still do.
I feel like they caught up a little bit, because I remember last time I went, they were playing, like, a pretty new movie, and I was surprised. I was telling my grandma, like, damn, they got this already? Like... Because like 2 years old or something. So they're definitely like slowly catching up, but it's still like... I don't know. It's just funny to me hearing the voices dubbed over. Like Shrek in Spanish. Yo, if you speak Spanish...
awful, man. And that's just, you know, that's an opinion. I'm not trying to state facts here. I know there are some people who love it, but I couldn't stand Spanish dub anything, dude.
Is this how Japanese people feel hearing fucking dubbed anime?
I actually looked it up, and some Japanese people talk about how, like, it's like the same thing here, man, where sometimes, you know, because how people talk in Japanese anime is not how Japanese people talk on a day-to-day. Like, if you know anything about it, you would know that by now. So they see kind of like sometimes Japanese anime can be kind of cringe in the dialogue.
Well, I mean, I see it like a cartoon. Like, people don't talk like they do in cartoons. Yeah, unless you're me.
Well,
and that's because...
nowadays, I feel like cartoons are a little bit more grounded nowadays.
When
it comes to that. But, you know, for them, it's kind of like, you know, since they don't understand how Americans, for the most part, talk, they kind of like, some people out there prefer the American dub of animes because it's cool to them. But they don't understand. We see it as cringe because, you know, no one
it depends like for me. Because for me, I see it like it's like exaggerated because the Japanese version is also exaggerated.
Exactly, and they have to like try to do the lip sync, right? And that's what kind of like fucks it up. But it kind of like it's you see how the roles are reversed. We think the fucking Japanese dub is super epic because we don't understand how cringe that is over there, and for them it's like the same, but with the English, you know. But I feel like no matter where you are, Spanish dub is always cringe.
Alright, but no, okay, if you speak Spanish, you gotta go watch the Spanish Shrek dub. Somehow find
yeah.
it. That shit is hilarious. Eddie Murphy's voice. Oh my god.
Or Spanish Saint Seiya. That was another one that's like
Oh
iconic
yeah.
to me.
What didn't it have like a different name though?
Sí, Los Caballeros del Zodiaco.
Oh my god. I love it. Dude, He-Man in Spanish too. I remember that when I was young.
I feel like our viewers, whenever we like switch to Spanish, get whiplash. I was thinking about it the other day. I feel like if we don't remind them, I think our viewers might forget.
Like they forget.
We're Latin. Yeah, that we're Latino. Like all of a sudden we drop like a whole fucking Spanish sentence. They're like, wait, well, what?
Whiplash though, great movie.
Yeah. Oh, Whiplash is great. They did a good job of making fucking J.K. Simmons be an absolute monster.
Oh yeah, dude. That's like one of the best movie villains ever, probably.
Fucking loved it. But at the same time, it's also the protagonist is a piece of shit. But
Wait, you don't like him?
Well, I already don't like Miles Teller as a person. He's kind of douche. But
I feel like he's kind of as a person, I don't know him or haven't heard of him in the news.
Don't look into it.
But
there's a reason you haven't heard of him in years.
I feel like he's kind of hit or miss in movies. Like I really like him. Well, in the movies that I like him, I really like him. But in the movies I don't, I feel like he's not good at all.
But in Whiplash, he plays a piece of shit character. Like his
no, he's good in Whiplash. That's what I mean.
Like
and in Ready Player One
is good. But no way, he's not in Ready Player One. That's a different guy.
Oh wait, yeah, never mind. He just looks like him. Never mind. You're right.
I don't think they look anything alike.
No, they're the same guy. Trust me.
Well, it's true. White people do all look the same.
Okay, come on, bro. He fucking looks like him. Don't even.
I just conceded. All white people look the same. It's fine.
Well, the other one, the Fantastic Four. I don't like him in that too much, but maybe that's because he doesn't make sense as Mr. Fantastic. But
yeah, I don't know, dude. It's just Spanish Latin culture is weird, man. When you grow up, kind of like on the border of both, because I had a very bilingual, bicultural family. You know, my mother's side of the family is like, you know, Afro-Latino. Some of them live in New York, too.
That's like the whole trap of Puerto Rico, though, is that we're American, but we're not.
Exactly.
Like, it's kind of fucked up.
And that kind of happens on Twitter, dude, when they go, like, it happens a lot with Afro-Latinos, too, where it's just like, oh, you're Afro-Latino, then you're not really black. I'm like, no, cabrón, entonces qué soy?
Yeah.
Huele bicho. Like, fuck. Like, I hate that dichotomy of just like, oh, if you're in any way
it makes
biracial,
no sense. Like, if you're African American,
anyone.
you're black. So if you're Afro-Latino, it's the same thing.
You're black.
You just speak Spanish. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
and it's
what?
like, it's so strange. Like, I actually had this discussion, you know, thank God my brother doesn't watch the podcast, but he said the dumbest fucking shit in the world about that. Where he was just like, you know, my mother's side of the family, my mother is mixed. Like, her father was black and her mother was mixed. So she's more black than she ever is anything else. But he was like trying to dispute that because she was light skinned, she wasn't black. My white ass brother. Because my brother comes like, you know, my father also comes from a mixed family, but both his parents were very light skinned, and he was raised mostly in America, so he's pretty white. Both in like how he was raised, kind of. He still has a little bit of Afro-Latino in him, but not nowhere near as much as my mother. But, you know, then my brother's mother, because we don't have the same mother, is like white. Like white. Like white.
So basically what you're saying is, I'm biracial.
No, what I'm trying to say is I love the irony of my white boy brother trying to tell my mom she's not black. It was fucking funny, and that he got fucking educated, man. Literally all my aunts and my uncles.
See, the thing is, I grew up white as hell, but I look black as hell.
He does.
I'm biracial.
He's pasty. My brother's like white, bro.
I know. I'm freaking doing the logic meme where logic is clearly white as hell. But
yeah, but bro, and it's like biracial. The same. My brother's the same because like he grew up listening to hip hop, and that's like his music, and that's the way he talks, and that's the way he dresses, and like when he was a teenager, he had cornrows, dude. And then he's over here telling my actual, like, my black mom that she's not black.
All right.
And I was like, boy, you're fucking tweaking.
All right.
And it was while we were playing Bombay Plan on Christmas.
I don't know, bro. It's fucking dumb. Like,
it's fucking funny. But yeah, I've always hated that.
I feel that
dichotomy.
there's too many people like that on Twitter too, like
Too
where
many.
they're trying to explain things. Like that's the funniest shit to me is like the whitest Karen trying to like I don't even like race-splain to a
Yeah.
black person. Like I don't.
It's so ridiculous, bro. I just like, and this is not. There's this other argument that's saying like, oh, if you're not part of the culture, then you don't speak, because there's a difference. There's a difference when you're trying to explain something academically versus when you're trying to explain something that's based on experience. Because, like, obviously, something that's based on experience, you're not going to have someone who's never experienced it try to tell you what it's like.
Yeah, I
However,
just feel you shouldn't even not bother, but even argue it depending on the person. You
exactly.
know, like
But when we're talking about things academically, when it comes to, like, historically and factually and how things are, you know, academically, I've seen some people who like go up to experts when it comes to that historical and academic aspects of it, and just because they're not part of the I'm losing the word, whatever, just because they're not part of the ethnic group, they immediately try to silence their expertise. Where I feel like that's another like just like toxic reversal of the situation. But, you know, that's a whole other different discussion. But this ultimately does comes down to, like, this weird sense in Twitter where people feel like they're the authority of everything. And they can't be questioned. And if you're questioned, the person questioning you is a monster.
it's the Twitter PC police, dude. What do you mean?
It's strange, dude. It's strange how people aren't self-aware to the point that they haven't realized how Twitter has perpetuated its own toxicity. And how closed-minded people are on that site, and how people haven't come to realize, like, how valuable the information of shut the fuck up is sometimes. Where it's just like, you're nowhere near as smart or as woke as you think you are, man. You're kind of just like, you're being an idiot.
I feel like that. I don't know. Maybe it comes with age and experience too, because that's something I've learned to do basically. Just like sometimes it's better for you to just shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Where it's just, you don't have to police and you don't have to take a stance on absolutely fucking everything, and not everything has to be some kind of fucking public,
and not everything is about you. Most importantly,
that's
like,
the
which
most
is
important part.
I feel the main thing with Twitter is they, in the end, whatever like statement you're trying to make, in reality, the person that's arguing it, usually it's because they want it. Like, they want to take credit for it. They want to be the
validation.
one.
They want that validation. And that's
it's
what
like,
Twitter's
I
all
won
about.
this argument. Like, there's no argument, bro.
Exactly, bro. It's just shut the fuck up, you know? It's absurd, man. And I love Twitter because of that. I never interact with any of it. I just
It's a love or
through
hate.
Twitter.
It's a love and hate, actually.
For me, it's a purely love, because I don't interact with any of it. Like, I just scroll by and see it happen. I never reply to anybody. I never fucking do anything.
I don't either, but I
just
still
look
get
at it.
triggered by it sometimes.
Really?
You know, like
I there's actually hasn't been anything on Twitter where I'm just like, how dare they? And I start typing, you know, or even just
no, that's
think
what I
about it.
mean. I don't engage in it, but I like in my mind, in my head, and like thinking about it, just like I'm like a little tea kettle, like boiling up, you know.
Really, for me, as far as it ever goes, I was just like, well, that person's an idiot, and I keep going.
It's mainly people that defend like clearly very not to do with race, but like other like sexual harassment claims or like other topics like that, where someone's trying to defend the person in the wrong, and it's just like, come on, dude.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of like, you know.
But it's also really funny, like you said, like yesterday, I ran into a flat earther thread.
Damn, I haven't heard about them in a minute.
Dude, oh man, flat earther explainers are probably some of my favorite content out there. And then the memes replying is just like the little Pixar light over the earth, and it's like day, and then over flat earth it's like day all over the earth. And then someone replies like, bro, you just turned the lights off at night. What you mean?
Oh, fuck, dude. I don't know. I think the funniest part I always find in Twitter is, like, no matter what you do, you're eventually, the more you speak out, the more at some point you're going to end up contradicting yourself.
Yeah.
That's another thing I see a lot on Twitter. Eventually, you know, the woke person is going to end up saying something or doing something unwoke.
They end up checkmating themselves.
Exactly.
Because they realize that their whole argument from the beginning was like wrong. So the more that they dive into it, it comes to a point where they checkmate themselves without even realizing
or
it. Or
even maybe at some point they were right, but then, you know, culture and as time goes by, things change and then they end up being wrong. You know, it you know, that inevitably happens. So I've always kind of seen it in a point where it's just like, unless something's really going on that is very much a clear injustice and is very much clearly unacceptable, why do you have to give so much of a shit? You know, where it's just like some things really aren't a big deal.
It's only game. Why you have to be so mad?
And and this is where I'm gonna end it. And I'm only gonna say this because it happened recently. But I remember, you know, there's this whole argument where, like, you know, one person speaking for an entire group, right? Where someone will walk up to you and say, I think I speak for everybody when, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I was seeing specifically about how a person was talking about that on their page, they will not accept like homophobic slurs or trans slurs or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And there were some replies from people who are homosexual or transsexual saying, well, personally, I don't care if people say slurs to me or anything because I feel like, you know, they're just words. They don't really do anything unless people are actually, you know, committing hate crimes and trying to silence people and all that stuff. You know, real discrimination. I feel like, you know, calling someone the F word isn't comparable and people shouldn't be making a big deal. From one point of view, okay, that's valid as a singular experience. But I feel like, you know, those people, and this falls in line with people saying, well, you're not gay. Who are you to talk? I'm just trying to say this as a purely like academic way. We're talking about Twitter. Twitter is a big place with a lot of people. It's fine if you as a singular person don't have a problem with someone calling you a slur. But this is a very public communal place where you have to think about everyone who is in this public communal place. And just because someone doesn't mind you saying this thing doesn't mean the other person next to you will or won't. So when you're in this very public area, you kind of have to, or you have kind of like a responsibility to yourself, if you don't want to seem like an asshole, to consider the consensus rather than the individual.
I mean, yeah, it's like cussing in church, you know? You can't just walk in there and start dropping F-bombs, bro.
Exactly. It's like
Jesus is going to look down on you.
I don't give a shit if someone walks up to me and calls me a spick. I don't care. It's a fucking word. But that doesn't mean that, let's say, for example, my sister thinks the same way. And if we're in the fucking Puerto Rican Day Parade and some white boy walks up and say, you're all a bunch of spicks, I won't mind. But I'm not going to stop the 50 other Puerto Ricans who are going to probably fucking brutally beat his ass on the street. See what I mean?
No, I totally agree. I don't know. I never think that one person should speak for everybody in a group, even if they belong to that group, because everyone is different at the end of the day. You can't speak for everyone's experience.
Exactly.
You know?
That's why I kind of feel like this kind of experience that, like, let's say hypothetically, someone's DMs get leaked and they're talking amongst their friends and they say, you know, they say the F word. Right? And then you find out that in their group, you know, they have a homosexual friend who's cool with it. And he's only saying it within that group, within that context. And you still want to cancel him for it. That's where I feel like, you know, that's kind of bullshit. Because that's within their group. And the person who's part of that group is like, I'm fine with it. Now, if that same person went on Twitter and said it, no, that's different.
If everybody in the group agrees with it, though, then why is someone trying to cancel them?
Exactly.
How are these DMs getting leaked? I feel like that's That's a very specific situation, I guess.
And this kind of goes with like a joke argument that I was having with my friends earlier. I'm Afro Latino. I'm from mixed family. Raph is black. And Raph is like the kind of guy where he doesn't care. And this also is a very Puerto Rican thing. People around here say the N-word because we all kind of like we identify with that, that background because it happened here too. I don't know how many people are educated.
Like Puerto Ricans can literally look like anything. Like there are black Puerto Ricans, there are white Puerto Ricans, there are even like Asian looking Puerto Ricans. Like,
dude, slavery happened here too. Gentrification happens here too. There is systematic, there was segregation here too. There is systematic racism still here too. You just don't hear about it because we're a very tiny island off the coast. But it happens. All of that happens here too. That's why we are also very much in line with that, African American culture, because all of it happens here too. So Afro Latino subsets of this country, we say the N-word very liberally as well. But we have one friend of ours who's white in our group, and he says like, bro, I can never say that shit. But Raph he's just like, just say it. Stop being a bitch. because that's how we are in our friend group. But if we were all white guys, there's the problem.
I mean, yeah, there's no reason to even be saying
exactly.
it. It's not part of the culture. And
exactly.
Unless you have just one friend that even then, exactly. I don't know, man. We're not going to get into specifics.
I can assure you, everyone and their mama that's alive today and has been alive has said the N-word. Period.
I mean, it's all about context, obviously.
That is a fact. Everybody has said the N-word. Especially people who have black friends. Because I'm pretty sure, not all, but most of their black friends are just like, yeah, motherfucker, you can say it. I don't give a fuck. You're my friend. I don't care. I know you're not a racist. I can assure you that happens all the fucking time. So kind of like see how people tippy-toe around it, even privately, is such, I see it as such like global hypocrisy, because there is that difference. There's a difference between when you're in this very communal space, in this very public space where it very much isn't okay, and then the context of like where you grew up with, who's your friend group, what's the culture, what is allowed, what isn't.
I mean, it's literally, it's all just what you said though. Like if you are within your friend group, then that's fine. But then you can't be the white guy in the group and go on Twitter and be saying it willy-nilly,
Exactly.
Like that's not going to fly.
Exactly.
Because
I feel like that's
Twitter is not your friend group, and Twitter is
Exactly.
not approving of it's not the same thing,
And neither is the subway, That's what I mean, dude. But I feel like that's something that's not commonly acknowledged. I feel like nowadays are just people view this in the entire world as this space where you have to constantly tippy-toe around everything, and where it tends kind of to like minimize. It either minimize actual bigger issues or just maximizes everything to where everything is an issue. So that's kind of like my view on that kind of situation right now. But yeah, that doesn't mean my white Discord people can just walk up to me and call me a spick though. I'll kick your ass.
Twitter police, hands above your head. You're under arrest.
Whoa, hey, what's going on? No, wait!